Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about is pretty much for beginners with beginning collectors with a modest budget. Now, when we're talking about a modest budget in watch collection, we're talking about under $1,000. Now, I realize that some of the budgets are more modest than that, but that's okay because some of the watches we have are too. I'm going to talk about three kinds of watches: sports watch, office watch, and a dress watch. So let's get started. First of all, for a sports watch, one I found that I think is a good one for the money, and it's very close to $1,000. Now, this is all of the prices are for new watches, new or unworn. So there are a lot of places on the secondary market where you can get a lot better prices, and we'll see some of those in a bit. But first of all, I want to start off with this Christopher Ward. This is called a C60 Trident Pro 600. I think it's a relatively new watch, and it's 39 millimeter in your width. The sports watch, I think it's good looking. This is not one of their SH21 movements, which they make themselves, but rather it's a Sellita SW200. Now, that is not the same quality nor the same price of some of their higher price watches, but the Sellita SW200 is a good, solid, but not expensive movement. So this would be my recommendation for a sports watch. Now, there's several other sports watches that I took a look at that I think are ones you might find, worthwhile taking a look at. For again, we're talking about under $1,000. First of all is the Glycine Combat Sub. Now, this one has an ETA 2824-2, a fairly reliable movement. It has a 38 hours it'll run, and it's an automatic, so if you wear it, it's got 38 hours from the last time it was fully wound by the movement. Now, this one I found for $430 on Touch of Modern. The retail price is $1,650, but if you look around, you can find some really good prices. The other one, or the next one, is the Damasco Swiss DS30. Now, it's a German watch. I'm not sure why they call it the Damasco Swiss, unless they're talking about the Swiss movement in it, which is an ETA. I'm not sure which one it is. Now, this one I found for $971 on a dealer called Island Watch. This one's 39 millimeters. It's got a bead blasted submarine steel case. Interesting choice, and it's the reference on it is DS30. A third one, which I really like, and I think is a very good buy, is the Seiko Patty Edition Monster. Look at the Monster, 42 millimeters. It's got a Seiko manufactured movement. It's called a 4R36. It's now I found this one for $525 at Island Watch. The prices I found are not the discounted prices, are not necessarily the best discounted prices. So like I said, shop around. Okay, now this next kind of watch is the office watch. And the office watch is the kind of watch you wear every day. You get up, you go to work, and you need a watch. And I think this one under $1,000 again is a pretty good deal. It's called the Dassault Gentleman Powermatic 80. Powermatic 80 is a relatively new movement that is actually out of, so I guess you'd call it out of Swatch. They made this movement and they got together with Tissot and part of it. And the Powermatic 80, the 80 is for an 80-hour charge that it has to it. And it's 40 millimeters. It's 3 hertz. I like the slower hertz rate. and it's got the hours, minutes, seconds, and dates. To me, it's an ideal office watch you can wear every day of the office and so forth. It's got a metal bracelet and stainless steel, so it's not something you're going to have to baby, but it's a little, doesn't look quite as out of office as a sports watch, at least some sports watches. Okay, now here are three other ones that I found that you might like, other office watches under $1,000. The Hamilton Jazzmaster. Now this one I found at a place called shopworn.com. And this one was $645. It's a nice looking watch. It's got a power reserve indicator. It's an automatic watch, so that's not quite as essential. It's by Hamilton. It's got the date, power reserve indicator, 42 millimeters, hours, minutes, caliber H13. This is the caliber that is from sort of the whole, let's see, I guess you'd call it group from the Swatch group and ETA, and they have their own movement making things. And so caliber H13 was one that was specifically for a particular set of Hamiltons. 645 down from 1295. I think it's a good buy. Now, this next one is a little more formal. Leather and gator bands tend to be more formal. This one is the Eterna 1948 Legacy, a very sort of something from the 40s, from late 40s, 1950s. It has an Eterna caliber 3903A in it. It's 41.5 millimeters, 65 hours charge in it. Got small seconds, date, hours, and minutes. Now this I found, this was right at the edge of $1,000. It was $999, but the retail on that was $3,700. So that's that's a lot of money. It's a lot of savings, and it's a nice watch too. Now another watch I think that that you'll like a lot is the foreign office watch is the Oris Artilade Date. And this has got it's another one with the Sellita SW200-1 in it, 40 millimeters, 38 hours of your charge, but it's an automatic, so it's not quite as bad. Now this one I found on Amazon, and Amazon isn't always the best place to find good prices, but this one had a good price on it, $795, whereas the retail on it was $1,525. By the way, the Eterna was from Joma Shop, is where it's always a good. So I always look at Joma Shop and see if I can find a good buy there. Sometimes they have them, sometimes not, but it's always good to check. Now this next kind of watch is a dress watch, and a dress watch is one that you want something a little fancier. Now this can be difficult with a watch that is under $1,000. A dress watch is traditionally, and I underscore traditionally, which means that maybe things have changed, they probably have. A dress watch is made out of gold or platinum, and they only have the hours and minutes. They don't even have a second hand nor a date hand. Well, couldn't find too many of those. And so I found ones I think that are really neat watches that you could use as a dress watch. Now, one I really liked is one called the Seiko Presage Cocktail Time. And both of these, one has a metal bracelet and the other one has a leather strap. For a dress watch, I would really recommend a leather strap. And I'd recommend a gator strap or a leather strap with a gator print on it. So what I did is that on the left there, you can see it $450 for the with a metal bracelet for the cocktail time, and for the other one, for the one with a leather strap, is $375. What I did is that I went out and I looked for gator straps for one, and they're not hard to find. I found a pair of $33, and that would really dress it up, I think. So you spend $375 and a few more bucks, and you have a pretty nice dress watch. You have a nice cocktail time. Okay, now some more of the dress watches are they're really an interesting one. I tend to like dress watches. That's me. First of all, it's a Frederick Constant Slimline. Now, Frederick Constant's got a lot of neat watches that are right on the border or discounted that you can find. This one is called the Frederick Constant Slimline. Now, that's another thing about dress watches. You want to get ones that are slim as possible. This is one reason that a lot of them don't have second hand, because the second hand has to be stacked on top of the minute and the hour hand to make it a little fatter. But this one I found for $795 at Sarasota Watch Company's retail price is $22.50, which is a big savings on that. So, like I said, if you really shop around, always shop around. If you're, especially for new collectors. This one's 40 millimeters, automatic, hours, dates, and minutes. So the date thing is not one that you would have, but it's got everything else. Actually, it doesn't have a second hand, so that makes it a little more so. Now, these next two is called the Hamilton Intromatic. Now, they have the ETA 2892A2. They have 42 hours. Now, the difference here, one is 38 millimeters and $845, and the other one is same watch, except it's a different color. It's got this darker color to it. It has sort of a gray to black. Now, why is this the big difference? One's $595 at Joma Shop. The retail is $895. And so what's happened is that a guy named, another collector named Darius Lee sent me a link with that. And it was a brand new one from Hodinkee. And it has the lighter champagne dial on it. And I guess if somebody says, wow, I really like that. And it's a new style. Now, down the line, you can probably get it for the $595 at Joma Shop. But while they're new and they just come out, they're usually at their higher price. So this is why the champagne one is $845. It's also 38 millimeters. A lot of people like the smaller ones, whereas the darker one is 42 millimeters, which is sometimes that's too big for a lot of people. Okay, so that's another thing to be aware of. Sometimes you'll see when these are two the same, but they're different colors, or they have some little difference on them. And that's not because one is horologically better than the other. It's just a new style or something like that. Now, this last one is a Mito Commander Shade. This one it's got an ETA 2836-2 and it is 37 millimeters. Now, 37 millimeters may sound small, and by and large, your dress watches tend to be a little smaller. But this one has got, it has hours, minutes, seconds, plus date on it. You get a lot of watch for that. But the reason that I picked this one, it has this chain link bracelet to it, very, very attractive bracelet, and would be something for more of a dress watch, kind of watch that would be more dressy, have a band like that. $870. Now, this is not with discounts or anything, but every watch that has been shown here that for the full price, sometimes you can get them at discounts, sometimes not. Usually when a watch just comes out, you're not going to get the discounts. Later on, you can get them. So if you wait a year or so for a watch, or you sort of get one slightly older, you can often get a significant discount. So that's something that I'd suggest to you, is to like I said, shop around, compare, talk to people. And speaking of talking to people, what I'd like for some of you who are watching this who are more experienced watch collectors, what would you recommend for watches under $1,000 in the three categories we had? Now, I know there are a whole lot of other categories, but just for these three, which I think are core categories for a watch collection. Anyhow, love to hear from you. Any questions you have, I'd be glad to answer them. And by the way, looking for collections to review still. So if you got a collection to review, let me know. And this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. Till next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art Side, the art and science of watch collection.